The swift crumbling of relations between Israel and America and the withdrawal today of the Israeli negotiating team from the Qatar ceasefire talks is now reverberating across the Israeli press. Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister, is described in one Hebrew newspaper as delusional and terrifying. It says, "This man is putting us all at risk. Our future, our children's future, the strategic alliance that is the keystone of Israeli national security." And the left-leaning but influential paper Haaretz says that Netanyahu can now add a diplomatic crisis with Israel's closest ally to his list of glorious failures. It says he has become a burden for Israel. He is exposing it to strategic risks that could extract a very heavy price. For the sake of his own political survival, he is willfully harming Israel's citizens. He must resign and give Israel a chance to rescue itself from the damage he's caused. The former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert is no fan of Bibi, but I wondered how much trouble Netanyahu was in with the Israeli public opinion after the near breakdown of relations with the Biden administration.
Andrew, I'll surprise you. I think that he's interested in this showdown with the administration. I know it sounds strange and perhaps unbelievable, but I think Netanyahu wants to present himself as the big macho, Rambo, commando. He's fighting against the whole world. No one will squeeze him. No one will force him to do what he doesn't want. Who is Biden? I'll show him who is Bibi. So in a way, I think that he has blown this out of its real proportion. What happened yesterday? The Americans did what they said they will do. They told us, they advised us time and again that we have to take humanitarian measures in order to somehow ease down the pressure and the threat to the life of many innocent civilians that are in Gaza. And the Israeli government, Netanyahu, didn't cooperate. So finally, they didn't vote. They didn't veto, they didn't vote against a resolution which talks about the hostages, which talks about the humanitarian needs. I could think of a better wording for this resolution. But to say that this is a reason for a showdown, for a direct confrontations, for a breakdown with the American government, the American administration. Do we have better friends in the world? It's help us more than Joe Biden did. So I think that this is blown out of proportion in purpose.
But I can see why Mr. Netanyahu wants to stay in power at all costs, whatever happens, would act like this. But what I'm getting to is, how dangerous a moment is this for Israel? Is his behavior endangering Israel?
I think it does. I think it does, and I think that not just me, but quite a few Israelis, and I think the number is growing rapidly. People feel that Netanyahu is now pushing Israel to the very edge on very fundamental matters, and that it can't last too much. I think that the days are numbered now. Netanyahu will have to go. I thought that he had to go long ago. I said it from the beginning. I thought that he is responsible for a terrible disaster which we had to now somehow deal with. It's not easy. And he had to go, but definitely every day that passes, it becomes more apparent.
So as he pushes away Israel's most committed supporters, most important supporters around the world, do you think that his strategy is proving existential for Israel?
Yeah, it becomes so. Yeah, I really think so. I really think so. I think that, look, there is no question in the minds of everyone here, perhaps not necessarily in the same manner in the international community, but here we felt from the beginning that we had to hit hard on the Hamas because of what they did, which was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
But, and we did. And I think we did. And by the way, I think I was amazed myself to the extent that the international community and our friends, the Americans, British, French, Germans, Europeans, everyone, actually supported the Israeli counteroffensive and was tolerant to, or in spite of some of the very disturbing outcomes in terms of the humanitarian suffering of so many hundreds of thousands of Palestinians. So we were given the opportunity. We actually smashed the Hamas. We destroyed its military capacity. We destroyed their bunkers, their command positions, their weapons, their rockets, their launchers. We killed more than 10,000 Palestinians. I'm not talking about innocent civilians, which were killed, unfortunately, but I'm talking about fighting people of the Hamas. Okay, now we have other things, and the first priority is the hostages, and we are going to reach the hostages, and if the hostages will not come alive, God forbid.
So in a parallel world where Mr. Netanyahu is not there any longer, how does Israel come back best from this precipice, do you think?
Well, obviously, I think that we need to have a leadership that will have a broader observation about what's going on. I think that if there will be a leadership that will offer a political horizon that will move forward towards meaningful negotiations with the Palestinians, towards peace resolution on the basis of two states, I think that a lot of the rage in the international community will disappear, and we will be able to somehow rebuild the credibility and the respect that we have entertained in the international community for so long, for good reasons. But in order to regain it, I think that we have to offer a political horizon. It's true that the Palestinians have to have a leadership worthy of the opportunity just as well, and this is certainly not Hamas. Hamas is gone. Hamas must be removed. There will never be peace with Hamas, and this is obvious. But the Palestinian Authority needs to provide also the kind of commitment and determination which is essential because it needs two sides.
And there's a long way to go on both sides there. You talked about the destruction of Hamas, and that's absolutely right and essential. But what about the cost of that? It has come at a huge and terrible human cost. 50,000 children dead? 15,000?
Andrew, we don't really know the numbers. I always said when asked about it, I said, why we don't need to exaggerate in the numbers of the innocent victims. And if there are only 2,000 kids, is this something that is tolerable? It's not, obviously. This is terrible. I feel absolutely sad and disturbed by every single innocent civilian from within the Palestinian community, every child, every mother, every father, every grandfather that suffered as a result of this. Largely, this is a result of the provocation of Hamas, of the fact that they attacked us, that they killed innocent Israelis, that they reached out in their homes and in the living rooms and in the bedrooms, and we had to react. And unfortunately, when you have to react and they are hiding and embedded within the urban centers in Gaza, which is one of the most crowded places in the world, unfortunately, sometimes innocent people suffer from it. And I'm seriously, genuinely sad for every one of them.
Yes.
What we to do now is to be aware of the growing impatience with these consequences and ramifications and bring it to an end.